My dear brothers and sisters, imagine a moment when the veil between heaven and earth trembles and a presence descends, so radiant, so vast, that the heart itself pauses in awe. This is not a tale of fear, but of wonder, not of judgment, but of truth so profound it reshapes the soul. Today, we gather to explore the mystery of Archangel Gabriel, the messenger whose voice carries the very will of God. Why does his presence stir both reverence and trembling? Why does his arrival mark the turning of ages? Come, let us walk this sacred path together with open hearts to discover the divine purpose woven through his story. In the ancient days, when the prophet Daniel stood alone in prayer, a vision came not as a gentle whisper but as a storm of divine light. The book of Daniel tells us that Gabriel appeared and the prophet fell to the ground, his strength drained, his breath caught by the weight of this heavenly encounter. This was no ordinary moment, my friends. Gabriel did not come to offer comfort or ease. He came to deliver a message that would unravel empires and herald the dawn of new eras. His words, sharp and clear, were not his own but the voice of God, carrying truths so vast that they pressed against the limits of human understanding. Daniel was not merely a man receiving a prophecy, he was a soul standing at the edge of eternity, touched by a power that both humbled and exalted him. In Jewish tradition, Gabriel is more than a messenger, he is a figure of fire and judgment, standing among the highest angels. His name, God is my strength, a testament to the unyielding force that speaks through him. This is the first truth of Gabriel. He does not speak to soothe, but to awaken, calling us from our smallness into the boundless plan of God. Let us now turn to the heart of the Christian story where Gabriel's presence weaves through the tapestry of salvation. Picture a young woman, Mary, in the quiet of Nazareth, her life humble, her heart open to the Lord. Into this simplicity, Gabriel enters not with trumpets, but with a presence that fills the air with divine purpose. The Gospel of Luke tells us she was greatly troubled at his greeting, not because of his words alone, but because his very being radiated a truth too immense for mortal hearts to hold. "Hail, full of grace," he declared, and with those words, the course of history turned. The announcement of Christ's coming was not a private moment, it was a decree that tore open the veil between heaven and earth, setting the stage for the redemption of all. So too with Zechariah, a priest steeped in sacred duty, who stood in the temple when Gabriel proclaimed the birth of John. Doubt flickered in his heart, and for this he was struck mute, not as punishment, but as a gentle lesson in surrender, a sign that some truths demand silence before they can be fully embraced. Gabriel's messages are not mere words, they are moments when God's will becomes undeniable, reshaping lives, nations, and the very fabric of time. In the Islamic tradition, Gabriel, known as Jibril, stands as the living bridge between the divine and the human, the bearer of the Quran itself. Imagine the Prophet Muhammad, alone in the cave of Hira, seeking solitude and truth. Into this sacred silence, Jibril appeared, his presence so overwhelming that the air itself seemed to tremble. "Recite," he commanded, pressing upon Muhammad with such intensity that the prophet feared he could not bear it. The hadith described Jibril as a being of unimaginable scale, with wings that stretched across the horizon, each feather shimmering with light, jewels, and divine radiance. His form filled the sky, his brilliance casting shadows across the desert, his voice rolling like thunder through the heart. This was no gentle vision, but a rupture in the ordinary, a moment when the eternal broke into the world. For years, Jibril returned, delivering the words of the Quran, each revelation a spark that illuminated the path to God. In Sufi thought, he is the veil torn open when truth descends, a presence that does not merely speak but transforms, leaving the soul forever marked by the divine encounter. Now let us reflect on Gabriel's place within the celestial order, for he is not like other angels, each of whom carries a unique purpose in God's design. Michael, the warrior, stands as a shield, his sword raised to protect against chaos and evil. Raphael, the healer, moves quietly, guiding the lost and mending the broken with a gentle hand. But Gabriel is different, my dear friends. He does not fight, nor does he heal in the quiet moments of human need. He is the herald, the voice of divine command, carrying messages that do not bend to human will. In the Book of Enoch, a text revered in certain traditions, Gabriel is tasked with a mission of divine justice. The Watchers, angels who defied heaven by sharing forbidden knowledge with humankind, had unleashed chaos upon the earth. Gabriel was sent to bind them, to purge their influence, and to restore the sacred order. His actions were swift, precise, and without hesitation, a reminder that when God's will is spoken, it is Gabriel who ensures it is fulfilled. In some rabbinic sources, he is even linked to the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, acting as the instrument of divine purification. This is not a tale of wrath, but of purpose, an angel who moves as the very hand of God, delivering truth with a clarity that leaves no room for negotiation. Let us now ponder the emotional weight of Gabriel's appearances, for his arrivals are not moments of ease, but of profound disruption that touch the very core of the human soul. Across the scriptures, those who encounter him are not lifted in joy, they are undone, their hearts laid bare before the divine. Daniel, as we have seen, fell prostrate, his body trembling, his strength sapped by the mere sight of Gabriel's radiant form. Zechariah, a priest of deep faith, stood in the holy sanctuary, yet when Gabriel proclaimed the birth of John, a flicker of doubt earned him silence, not as punishment but as a call to humility, a reminder that God's plans surpass our understanding. Mary, chosen and blessed, was greatly troubled by Gabriel's presence, her heart stirred not by pride but by awe and uncertainty. Why such reactions, my dear friends? It is not the message alone that overwhelms, but the presence that delivers it. Gabriel carries the weight of eternity, a force that bypasses reason and speaks directly to the soul. Theologians call this the numinous, a sacred awe that blends wonder with trembling, reserved for encounters with the divine. When Gabriel appears, our defenses crumble, our certainties falter, and we are left with the raw truth of our mortality. Yet, in this vulnerability, there is no shame, only an invitation to trust, to surrender, to let God's will reshape us. Gabriel's terror is not born of malice, but of proximity to a reality so vast that our hearts race to contain it. He does not come to judge, but to awaken us to the divine purpose that flows through our lives, even when we cannot yet see it. As we approach the end of days, Gabriel's role grows ever more solemn, his presence a beacon in the final chapter of creation. In Christian apocalyptic texts, we see him standing with a trumpet in hand, awaiting the moment when God's command will sound. When that trumpet blasts, it will not be a melody, but a summons, a sound that shatters the boundaries of life and death, calling every soul to account. Mountains will crumble, oceans will recede, and the stars will fall, not in chaos, but in the precise unfolding of divine order. In Islamic tradition, while the trumpet is often attributed to Israfil, Gabriel remains a towering figure in the unraveling of the world, a witness to the moment when the cosmos bows before its creator. He does not act as a warrior or a comforter in these final moments. His role is colder, more exact. He is the one who confirms what was written from the beginning, standing amid the silence of a world undone. Consider this, my brothers and sisters, the same Gabriel who announced the birth of Christ, who brought hope to a virgin's heart, now stands as the herald of the end. This is not a contradiction, but a completion. His voice, which once sparked beginnings, now signals the fulfillment of all things. To imagine Gabriel in this moment is to grasp the scope of his mission. He is the thread that binds the first whisper of creation to its final breath, the messenger who carries God's word through every age, unwavering and eternal. Yet, there is another dimension to Gabriel's story, one that reveals the depth of his purpose across all traditions. He is not only a messenger of beginnings and endings, but also a figure of divine justice and purification. In certain apocryphal writings, Gabriel is depicted as a judge in the afterlife, weighing the souls of the departed or recording their deeds with a precision that leaves no room for ambiguity. In Jewish mystical texts, he is sometimes associated with the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, not as a bringer of wrath, but as the instrument of God's will, ensuring that corruption gives way to renewal. In Islamic tradition, Jibril's role as the bearer of revelation is itself an act of purification, for the Quran he delivers is a light that cleanses the heart and guides humanity back to the path of righteousness. This aspect of Gabriel reminds us that his presence is not merely about delivering messages, but about aligning the world with God's eternal truth. He is the one who ensures that what is false, what is broken, what is contrary to the divine order is swept away, not with violence, but with the unrelenting clarity of heaven's voice. To encounter Gabriel is to be called to account, not in fear, but in hope, for his justice is always tempered by the love of the God who sends him. And so, we come to the heart of our journey. Why does Archangel Gabriel inspire such awe, such holy terror? It is not because he wields a sword or brings destruction, but because he brings truth in its purest, most unyielding form. When Gabriel appears, the illusions we cling to, our pride, our certainties, our fragile sense of control, dissolve like mist before the sun. His presence is a mirror reflecting not only who we are, but who we are called to be. The fear he inspires is not panic, but reverence, a recognition of our place within the vast tapestry of God's design. In a world that often seeks to tame the divine, to reduce the sacred to something comfortable and familiar, Gabriel stands untamed. He is not the gentle guide of meditation cards or the soft glow of inspirational art. He is the voice of heaven, brilliant, unbearable, and utterly necessary. My dear friends, we live in a time when truth is often softened, when the divine is shaped to fit our desires. But Gabriel reminds us that some truths cannot be negotiated, some callings cannot be ignored. He does not come to reassure us that all is well. He comes to announce that all is possible if we dare to listen, to trust, to let God's will unfold through us. When Gabriel speaks, kingdoms rise and fall, souls are stirred, and the world is made new. This is the holy terror of his presence, not cruelty, not chaos, but the overwhelming love of a God who speaks through him, a love so vast that it breaks us open to receive it. Let us then not shy away from this awe, but embrace it. Let us listen for Gabriel's voice, not in fear, but in hope, standing in the light of his truth, trembling yet joyful, ready to be remade by the one who sends him.